Hey, waiting to get right, only leave you left behind. Up goes the early bird soaring down. Scrounge around for whatever worms might be obtainable. Never knew who flew about theirs first. So what's available, not a lot it seems. What you gonna do for it? Anything all means. Type of dedication you gotta have as you're blazing the path. Never know who trailing you, hoping to get familiar with the ways of the things that we do. Ball hard and hold everyone who here accountable. Speaking of, stack it up till it's high as the stars in the skies. Always told to shine bright. You see it in my eyes. Ooh, we found high among the lows. Yeah. Ain't no stopping in, so we don't go. There's no slowing down, no, not right now. Cause the ways of the things that we do. Ball hard and hold everyone who here accountable. Speaking of, stack it up till it's high as the stars in the skies. Always told to shine bright. You see, hello. I've been starting with the one looking right at me. Slipping at a high rate, moonwalking backtrack. Clear as black and white, sometimes we need a break. Human nature don't want to be here and get away. But I think it's time for me to start something.
For the layout, I always pick the two-person template. I cannot convince
Well, there's
myself.
3 of us.
Well, there's 3 of us.
Yes, I agree.
Surprise!
There are 3 of us. I still don't pick the right one, but I agree. I meant to ask you if my mic is like super loud right now or not. Is it good?
It's not super loud.
No, the music
Right.
is very loud, though.
Especially
compared to you.
Your mic is being drowned out by the music.
No. What about now?
Now you're fine.
There you
I
go.
can give you more. I can also just talk louder. I got it in me. Hello, 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 hello.
I've got the magic in me.
When I
Oh
touch
no,
the
duet.
floor, the
No,
girl
this is
comes
reminding me of the.
snapping at me.
Please don't. It's reminding me of the directors of Amelia Perez. Please don't sing. Please.
Oh my God,
Gosh.
the cringiest thing I've ever seen at the Oscars.
I was sitting beside Mackenzie and I couldn't look at the TV anymore. I felt like I had to pull out my phone to look at it
Why?
because I was uncomfortable. It was
What happened?
so awkward.
We'll talk about this later because I did make a note about this.
I didn't see any. I didn't see any of it, so
Don't worry.
I was.
Thank you,
I
Becca.
was-
Becca, this is the
Oh
temporary.
yeah, welcome to your new house,
I
Patrick.
haven't put there'll be shelves here. There'll probably be shelves over here.
Cool.
Stuff will happen, but this is still no offense to anyone, better than the last setup for sure. So we're getting there.
I thought you were gonna
Love
say
it.
this is still better than what you could do, like just to the general populace. No offense, anyone, but this is way better than what you could do.
I don't want to call anybody in particular. The moment because I taken a few steps away and turning so red. Yeah, I genuinely couldn't even tell you that happened because I literally could not look at the TV when it's going on. It made me so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, stop talking
so
about
many
it
times.
without talking about it, because
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Some
what
crazy
That's
Oscar
what
stuff.
you sound like.
Zuba.
It is funny. Like I felt like I could, from spending time with you, Andrew.
Yeah.
I felt like I could anticipate the jokes that Conan was gonna make because y'all's humor is so similar.
That's
funny.
As Nick Cage would say, that's high praise. that's Andy,
Really,
that's Andy Samberg.
really.
That was fun.
That's
I liked
Andy
that. I
Samberg
liked that.
being Nick Cage.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
That I 100%.
That's high praise.
Which country was it? Like Uzbekistan when he's like, balls in your court.
Ball's in your court.
That just felt like something that you would say. Okay.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw a couple of clips on the Team Coco channel on Conan O'Brien's page, and that was one of the ones I saw, and that was.
I did. The one I will say as much as I want to say it's played out, the Drake comment that was made like halfway through made me laugh out loud.
We're about halfway through, which means Kendrick Lamar needs to come out and
Call Drake a pedophile.
call Drake a pedophile.
Oh my
and then he said,
gosh.
"I'm lawyered up."
It was just the casualness and the quickness really caught me off guard. But he's happy because his body language. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. We're going to talk about it. But I did see I had planned on talking about that film last time we podcasted. We're supposed to podcast.
Well, you were saying you need to rewind a little bit. You're meant to talk about Amelia Perez,
Yes,
correct?
I meant to talk about Amelia Perez, and I watched it. And one of the reasons I watched it was because I wanted to be able to talk about it on the show because I knew the stories around it. And then I wasn't on the
Yeah.
show, and so I've been just sitting back here.
And it's weird, right?
I'm gonna wait to get into some of my thoughts when we talk about the Oscar stuff, because I will
Yeah.
give my quick summation for it. I was happy though that what's her name picked up the Oscar though. I was not disappointed.
Yeah.
We're gonna
we'll
get
get
to
to
it. We're
all
gonna
of
get to it,
though,
so it doesn't
we-
matter.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah.
I did fall. I will say I
Preview.
did fall asleep before the final 2 awards were given out. So
I had like a huge group of people over, so like there's no way we would be falling asleep. And like we, like are make it more fun and rowdy. Than I
Jedi,
think
were
most
your
times
friends
people watch.
seat fillers? Were they paid the professional seat fillers that got the care packages from Coco?
Oh, that's
That
cool.
would be awesome.
I would love to be a seat filler at the Oscars. Anytime you need me, Oscars.
Kirsten Dunst, when she got what's Amy Schumer was doing like an interview thing with Goggins. Well, I think not Walton
Walton
Goggins.
Goggins is a person. Amy Schumer's a person. These could all be.
What's your
All
boy?
of these are people and could be part of the story.
What is your boy Patrick, who was in Game Night and he had the cat? He was the neighbor in Game Night.
Oh.
Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons?
She sat down with Jesse Plemons, and Kirsten Dunst, I guess, is married to Jesse Plemons. Did you know that? Okay.
Yes, I did because they met
Okay.
during Fargo.
Kirsten
They look
Dunst.
like they could be brother sister,
Amy
right?
Schumer walked.
Keep going.
Amy Schumer walked up to her and she said and it was obviously a bit, but she said, "Excuse me, you don't need to fill this seat anymore." So Kirsten Dunst got up and walked away, and she sat down and started talking about seat fillers, and Jesse Plemons was like, "That's my wife." She was like, "You married a seat filler?"
Wait, was this all?
Oh,
when
no.
did this all?
I don't know.
missed
I
this
saw it today.
apparently.
I thought it was part of the. I thought it was
It
part
must
of
have
the
been
Oscars
like
bit.
I don't
No, it's Sonia and her
I
husband.
don't know if they.
I don't know.
I keep
Maybe it
forgetting you're
happened,
friends
like-
with Sonia.
I'm trying to think what movie they would have been nominated for
I don't know.
recently.
Kirsten Dunst? None.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah, or Jesse Plemons. Recently.
We're ready. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yes.
was like, did you guys freeze? What happened?
I needed a verb. I got a verb. We're ready now. Okay. Let's count this in. Let's get things started. It's time to kick this thing in the chickens. That's what they say, I think. 3 and
Kick it
2
in the
and
chickens?
1
No,
and
start over. You can't. you
and
can't-
3 and 2 and 1 and
Okay.
that was perfect.
Useless.
You'll see in post that was absolutely perfect. All right. Ha, ha, ha. Here we go. Welcome to episode 578 of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the podcast that's reunited and it feels so good. In this episode, we talk about the Oscars, building a keyboard, and there's treasure inside. I'm Andrew Sale.
I'm Lauren Rubin.
Patrick Hill.
So sit back and listen to the dulcet tones of not one, not two, but all three hosts in another action-packed episode.
Turn my headphones up.
That's good.
But genuinely, I think there's volume control on these headphones because I'll figure it out. Go ahead.
I saw you messing with your
I
earwax.
can't. I feel like I might swap in a second, but I'm gonna see how far we can go.
Okay. We like to kick off every episode.
Give him a chance.
We like to kick off every episode by going around the table, which is where we talk about things that are new, fun, and noteworthy about our weeks. Patrick, for those who are watching right now, they're seeing that you are in something that feels new but familiar.
I am missing a few things. Yeah, so we finally made the move. The move that we've been working on for 8 or so months.
Yeah, the better part of a year.
Yeah, has now happened, and I am in a new space. I'm in my house finally. Not done unpacking. You'll notice. Sorry, my camera's reversed, so I need to think about reality and not what I see. You'll notice I have bags of Lego all over here. This stuff has to be built or thrown away. And then I have boxes over there of like toys. Yeah.
Only two options.
The cabinet that I used to have, I no longer have. And so all of those toys are in that cabinet. They're all boxed up over there. And then I have shelves I haven't hung over there. So this is a work in progress. This was enough for tonight. over time, this will start getting
What, you've had like 2 weeks in your new house? You should be fully moved in
fairness.
by now.
And this is not because of me, to be clear. This is 100% because of my wife.
Dolores.
This house was unpacked in like 48 hours. Like minus this room.
Oh,
it was
that's
like
amazing.
48 to 72 hours. Everything was unpacked in its
Mackenzie.
place except for the office. And then every day it's like I'll work on it some during the day. Like I always think I'll have like downtime at work and I can just turn around and do stuff, and then I never have downtime or I don't take it. But so it'll happen eventually. But I'm in my space. It feels so nice. Things still aren't plugged up. Like this will get plugged up eventually. I don't know where the cable is. I'll find it.
Is that your cell phone?
Yeah, this is my cell phone. This
Wow.
is it's a
You've
jitterbug.
you've got
It
the,
has the extra large buttons.
yeah. You've made the.
It looks like a
You've
Rubik's
made the
Cube
jump.
phone,
Yeah.
basically.
So it just each of my caregivers is just one of these large buttons, and I can go down the list until I find something, which has been nice. But super pumped. All that is good. There is one thing, and you'll see me like I feel very fixated on my face right now.
Yeah.
I just thought of one other story to tell. I'm going to tell 2 stories.
Ooh.
2 stories. One, I should have had great looking hair right now.
Yeah.
And I hate to say barber, stylist. I don't know if you're a female, if it changes what you are.
Yes. You
can be
can't
a
be
female barber.
by definition. By definition.
Yes, you can. It's the
Listen,
type of
I talked
haircut.
to J.K.
I
Rowling, and she
wondered about
said
this.
you cannot be.
I don't. So I was thinking it's this type of cutting that you do. Like if you cut men's hair,
It
primarily your
100%
barber.
is
Yeah.
the kind of hair cutting you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she feels like she deserves to be called a stylist. I don't know. But the point is that I was.
I
She
think
prefers stylist.
getting a barber's license
Well, that's
is actually
totally different,
harder
yeah.
than getting a stylist license. So it seems like she's
Well,
downgrading herself.
That sounds sexist.
No, I'm pretty sure I had a conversation with Chuck about this. Like
Chuck would know. Chuck, if you're listening, let us know because I
Yeah.
know that you know all the answers
Yeah.
to this and you actually might be listening. So please
Yes.
tell us.
both things.
I was supposed to get a haircut.
Yeah, my barbery knowledge is very
Yeah,
limited.
No, he's got it on Wednesday, and that I was supposed to go that afternoon, and I got a text. There's this really weird thing where like. I don't know. I got a text from the barber that was like, "Hey, I've got the flu, so I need to move your appointment." And they had to move it like a week, so I now go later this week. It might be like tomorrow. I don't remember. But anyway, so then Jonathan and I, Jonathan who's been on the show before, we use the same barber, and I was talking to him while we were watching Traders this weekend. And I mentioned that, hey, I was going to get a haircut and my barber was sick. And he said, oh, what day? And I was like, oh, Wednesday. And he went, dude, I got my haircut by her on Thursday. And I was like,
She's
you
totally
have to
over
be joking
it.
because your hair looks terrible. That's not what I said. But he said that like 100% got his haircut on Thursday, but I couldn't get mine on Wednesday because of flu. So now do I confront? Not that I would confront, but I'm in this spot of I kind of want to pry.
but wait,
like,
so
I kinda wanna
you
be
were
like-
supposed to get it on Wednesday. She said no.
But she was
Woke up,
sick, yeah.
went to the doctor. I have the flu. I'm rescheduling everybody.
Yeah, but then she cut.
But then Jonathan still got
On
a haircut
Thursday.
the next day.
But
yeah.
that could just be that's very very
She
possible.
felt
yeah.
better.
Could be.
Both things could be true.
I agree. Both things could be
And
true.
she could still have been considerate for you.
She could have just
She
called
could have
out
been
sick one day.
considerate for
Like,
Considerate.
that
you.
shit happens.
And
yeah.
then for him, she didn't give a shit because she didn't want to lose out on the money. So it's possible that he
That's
was just
possible.
exposed to, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Jonathan has the flu now.
yeah.
That would suck because like his whole family's been like sick for a while. They need a break.
But I don't like. On one hand, it was really no inconvenience to me, but I do kind of want to sit down and go, oh, how long were you sick last week? Is this from your barber?
I got an answer. No, it's from Siri and
Oh, he's
ChatGPT. Here's the
listening.
answer to it.
Okay, here's the answer.
Oh, okay.
It requires 1,000 hours to get a cosmetology license and passing written exams. The practical exams are no longer, though the practical exams are no longer mandatory. I don't know why it mentioned it. The main difference is that cosmetologists can perform a broader range of services, including hair, skin, and nail treatments, while barbers focus on hair cutting and shaving. Therefore, obtaining a cosmetology license may be considered more challenging due to the wider scope of training.
Right,
I
but
think,
like, I still
I think
understand
if
which
I
is a
So maybe that is why
if
she
I remember
prefers
correctly,
stylist.
now that I'm reading that, Chuck
Chuck-
is technically a stylist, but he goes by barber.
right, but he has all the licensing to do
He
cosmetology.
can do cosmetology, but he goes by barber. So I think that's the direction that it went.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. I'll get a haircut soon. I might have an update. I don't know. I might try. I might try to find out more. I also wish I just didn't care as much.
I was gonna say, what good is it gonna do? I kind of feel like is
That's
it
really
a thing
funny,
that you
yeah.
want to know the answer to? Like,
I think it would be fun to know the answer. Like, depending on the answer, it could be fun to tell y'all.
can I
Yeah.
parlay this into another story?
Yeah, please.
And I'm not gonna say names because there are people who listen who know this story.
By the way, she might be listening.
Yeah, okay. Somebody at work came in and came to work and walked around people and said, "Hey, don't get too close to me. I was with my family last night and they all woke up this morning with they're all sick. They all have the flu.
Go home.
Okay, why are you here?
Go home.
Just go, right? So that was kind of what happened.
Work
Okay.
from home.
The next day,
Yeah.
several people started getting sick, including this person. They took one. They woke up in the morning, came to work, felt terrible, and then they left. If I remember this story correctly, they were asked to leave and go to urgent care.
In fairness,
Yeah.
this sounds a little bit like me at New Point, but continue.
The next day, this person, they got a steroid shot and whatever. The next day, they came back into work. The next day. They had been full fever the day before.
No.
It hadn't even been 24 hours yet. They had full fever. They came back in.
No.
They were around somebody who I work directly with in my office, and she told me that she was there, and I said, I need you to work from home today. Like, you were exposed to her. We work together. No, it's not.
But I feel like
That's a fair guess, but no, that's not it.
Okay.
Patrick's doing ghost messaging to me to see if he can figure out who all this stuff
Yeah,
is.
to see.
So she comes in. She's not feeling. She's like, I feel better.
I wish
I'm
I
back
waited
in."
till that detail, but
They
continue.
they left. Then they left at noon. They left at noon because they weren't feeling great. They went back home again. I found out when I came in that the person who works directly in my office with me, she said, yeah, just so you know, so-and-so is here again today and blah, blah, blah. And they were next to me and I said, we can't have sickness in our house right now as best as possible because we don't want to mess with her pregnancy. I said, you go work away today. Like, I don't. Just go. You don't need to be here. Just go work away. And so she did. 2 days later, the rest of the week she called in sick.
Yeah.
The person that works in my office. And
Well,
then the
good.
person who is
Finally.
patient 0, who could not
Sure.
keep away, she was out for a week and a half. Like, she went to the doctor 3 times. She had to go to the ER one
Holy
day.
crap.
She was like just deathly ill with this flu, which turned into like bronchitis or something. Like
Yeah.
it turned into something else. And
Jeez.
I'm saying this, and I know that people are listening who know the situation. They know who I'm talking about. I care about that person, but I will say this: my level of compassion for them dropped pretty dramatically when I feel like they knowingly put other people at risk because they weren't being responsible for themselves. So it makes it a lot harder for me to feel empathetic toward them, knowing that this turned into such a horrendous thing for them. There's part of me that's like you should have just stayed home to begin with, and it wouldn't have gotten as bad. It wouldn't have been as exacerbated.
I'm glad that someone was like, "You're right. Your wife is pregnant. Maybe I should go home because you're in the office. She's in the office. That's great." But also, like, hey, I work here too, and even though I'm not an unborn child, like maybe you could also just.
Let me
not
tell
be
you,
sick either.
the person who the patient 0, we'll just call her that. They said to my
You
Becca,
would say your patience is 0,
Yes.
and then they are.
They said
patient
to
0.
my Becca, the one who's tuning in right now, my Becca, hey, don't get too close to me. My kids, the whole family I was with them all day yesterday, and they all woke up with the flu. They said that to her, face to face, and it's like,
That's
why
so
are you
ridiculous.
here? This makes no sense.
Not to mention, like, none of us, I guarantee you, of all the people listening to this podcast, because I know a few of you, none of us are important enough that we need to be in the office.
No, especially these days.
No.
Especially these days. Most of the work that
Nobody
we
is
do.
like the
can do everything
difference
from
between
home.
like nuclear warfare starting and not.
Yeah.
You can be at home.
Anyway, sorry, that's just you talking about that
Yeah.
made me. I got reheated with everything.
Second story. Second
Reheated.
story. And only for the fun usage. This is very brief. Mackenzie and I, we did something we never do, which is we went and ate downtown Chattanooga.
Oh,
That's
exciting.
We were leaving the restaurant, and this isn't even going to make the podcast. So this is a Twitch streaming special, because I will cut this out of the podcast.
Why?
We were leaving the restaurant.
This is one
And
word to
there
get around.
was what I assume to be a homeless man sitting on the side of the building. And when we were walking by, he made the comment, if you get a chance, you always doink a white woman. And then he just started going like doink, doink, like over and over. And I didn't know what my role was in
Was
the
he
situation.
talking to you, or was he just talking to the air? Like,
Or
was he
just out loud, yeah.
Speaking.
It just so happened Mackenzie and I were walking by, and we were the only people walking by.
Okay.
So it
And-
felt pointed at us.
And for those who are just listeners, Mackenzie is a white woman. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
all these things put together, it seemed very pointed. And as soon as we walked by, because I genuinely in the moment was like, am I supposed to do something? And so I just told Mackenzie, like, you know I love you. I don't think I should get into that. Like, I don't think that's.
This isn't one
You
of
know
those.
I would defend you.
Sometimes
This
it's
isn't
okay
one
to
of
just
those,
walk
I
away
am the man
and ignore
who
the
will
person.
fight
Yeah.
for your honor.
I don't think this is the one.
This is not the hill to die on.
Or
when some
I'll be
guy's
the
just
hill
kinda
to die
yelling
on.
out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I handled it poorly. I'm not sure. But it was a fun use of the word. That's going to stick with me for a while.
What was the word again? Say it again.
Doink.
Doink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if I've ever
I'd
actually
love
said
to.
doink.
Let's make Mackenzie a shirt that just says doink for.
just doink, doink.
Doink.
And the thing is, people won't
Yeah.
even, no one will think about it.
It's
Oh,
not
wait a minute.
inappropriate if you don't know the context.
It's not appropriate if you don't know the context.
Just think it's a cartoon sound or something.
That's it. I had one other thing. I do want to talk about, I told you beforehand, and maybe at the beginning of this, I did see Amelia Perez. I was prepping for the show last time, and I watched a couple of the Oscar contenders, and I was so excited to share.
Oh man, we missed out a
I
good one
know.
because that was like I've just been on a quest to get as many as I
I
can.
was so excited to share my feedback, and then I wasn't here last week. But I'll be here moving forward. Like I said, this space will continue to evolve. And I do have something exciting from a master category, but I'll save it for now. Great seeing everybody. Happy to be back. But for now, Andrew.
Yeah. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. It's been a good one though. We went to Salado, Texas. I've talked about Baylor Street Pizza. Those are the people who did the pizza for our wedding. They moved down from Ohio. I did the initial branding for them. Our friend Rocky, he is the creator of that. It now lives in Texas. It lives in north of Austin in Georgetown. But they did the Texas Pizza Fest this past weekend. And
Oh, that sounds
Rocky
awesome.
and his wife Courtney came down and taught a pizza making class as part of that event. And so Becca and I, her Valentine's Day gift was a weekend to Salado, and we were going to do that class together. It was so fun. We got the recipe, Patrick. I don't know if we told you this on the text thread,
No,
but we
send
got
it to me.
we got the recipe for their dough
Yeah.
and the recipe
it.
for their sauce, as well as the salad and all sorts of stuff. So we do have I'm bringing you we got 2 sets. I'm bringing you a set of the cards.
Okay.
When I come there in a couple weeks. So, but it was a blast going in.
Did you make it in their, like one of their kitchens, like in one of their big ovens?
No, because it was this isn't, Baylor Street is still a truck while they're still building their brick and mortar, which will be in Georgetown. This was at the event area. So it was in the
see.
Stagecoach Inn's ballroom.
I didn't know how much they had expanded or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
they are
This
expanding.
was their mobile pizza oven then?
We did it in Uni's. We weren't
Oh, okay.
we weren't
Great,
using
great.
their truck, so there's about 100 people taking this class, and or maybe not quite 100,
That's
maybe
cool.
80. But so we were cooking these in unis. But anyway, it was a great
electric
experience.
unis, gas
Electric.
unis, propane unis.
Propane. It was propane.
Okay.
Yeah. So gas. I think propane is gas.
That's funny. I assumed that was the name of
No.
the restaurant.
That's the.
And I was like, how does Patrick know this place?
I actually
Number one, we did live together for a while, and we know all the same people.
That's true.
But number two,
No, but it's in like Salado, Texas. So like, why would you know this restaurant there? But I was like, damn, he's really
Uni
researched his
is
Pizza
a
Fest.
brand of pizza oven.
Yeah.
I believe it's spelled OONI.
It is.
And
I actually got a hat. I got a
yeah,
hat
yeah.
from them as part because they were one of the sponsors of the class, and I got a hat, and I was gonna wear it tonight, and
fun.
I left it in the other room. Anyway, the event was great. The food was phenomenal. We ate way too much pizza. You would have absolutely. It was pizza and beer.
Loved it.
It was put on by Baylor Street, was kind of the headliner, and there were several other pizza people from around the area that were there with their food trucks at the fest, and then it was put on also primarily by a brewing company. So lots of beer, lots of pizza. It was very, very cool. Yeah,
sounds
Jedi,
super fun.
you should have come down. I know that I was wearing your pizza shirt the other day, by the way, Jedi, last week. Your
At the
no,
Pizza
not
Fest?
because I
Seems
got
appropriate.
a shirt for Pizza Fest, and I wore that.
You
one.
really are letting me down.
I'm letting.
To not wear a
I
pizza
did
shirt
wear
at
a
Pizza
pizza
Fest.
shirt, but I didn't wear the Death to Pizza one that.
You
I
don't wear
didn't wear
the
the-
pizza
yeah, the
shirt.
good-
yeah.
the good one.
No, I'm just kidding.
So that was a lot of fun.
was like, I have one too.
Then I got a couple things, and I've been holding on to because I was waiting for you to be back, Patrick. I don't know. So we've talked about 100% soft several times over the years. I've talked about dumpster fire. We've shown a couple of different things as the years have gone on. We've also talked about our friend Beast is back. So Christopher Lee, Beast is back, and they did a collaboration. And how long has it been since I've bought and shown a toy? I mean, it's been a long time. Like as far as
Do Legos
no,
count?
those don't count. Those are collectibles. But this popped up, and it just felt like it was right. We own the dumpster fire. Everything is fine figure. It sits on Becca's desk. And so I figured I wanted to get a companion piece to it, and getting one that was Christopher Lee, Beast is back, with 100% soft seemed like it was the right thing. And that is this little collaboration.
Oh, I really like
for
that
those who are
one.
listening.
Oh, it's got the
his
beetle.
beetle on it. It's a
That's so
it is
cute.
an organic woodland dumpster fire.
I was gonna say it almost looks like something Gary Ham would have done, but
It's a little bit, yeah. It's like it basically looks like a stump with eyes and a mouth carved into it, and instead of the fire, it's like ferns, like fern leaves growing out of it, and then there's a little.
This is like what happens like 1,000 years after all the humans die, and there's
Exactly.
no more dumpster fires.
It also came with a sticker of his initial drawing for it.
Oh,
And
it's so
it
cute.
Came with an enamel pin of the same thing.
That's awesome.
Now, if you see the title, it says Dumpster Stump.
Stump.
Yeah.
Tell me that's not a missed opportunity for it just to be called Stumpster
Stumpster.
Fire. Come on, people.
Dumpster
Like,
Stump, though, is cuter. I can't tell you why. It, in fact,
Stump-
is cuter.
But Stumpster Fire, it falls in line with everything.
Jetpack
Well, I'll
supposed
name
to
the
know how
episode
much
that to make you
was
feel
it?
better.
I want to say for the pack of 3, it was only like $38 or like maybe $40. It was like
That's very
incredibly
reasonable.
It was incredibly reasonable, and it looks really, really nice. It's a great little companion piece for the desk. And then one other thing that I want to tell you about is this game that I got at a board game convention a couple weeks ago. It's a game done by an independent creator, and it's a game called Ports. If you see this,
Okay.
it's a bag. It says a game of battles with boats. That
Makes
feels like that's not grammatically correct, but that's fine. It's this game that is basically, it kind of plays like Parcheesi, if you're familiar with Parcheesi, but it's a much quicker play. This is the game board, and you play as you're basically you roll dice, and you're moving you're moving ships around the board, and you are either black ships or you're white ships. These little, like little boat-shaped pieces. And then there are custom die, and they're D4s, but there's only
like
markers
the black and
on.
white, yeah.
Yeah, there's just markers on some of them, so it's possible to roll a 0.
Oh,
on these.
it's kind of like a yes or no, or
It's binary basically.
yeah.
But it's on a D4, so it's not just a 50-50. I think the ratio is
They didn't
actually
wanna
more
do
like
coin.
a 70-30 split. But that's it. You try to get around and get your boats to dock into the opponent's area first, and you get the first person to get 4 boats there wins the game. And there's several different pieces. But if you want to buy one of these, you can go and go to their website. It is we'll put a link to it in show notes. It's called the company's called Thatch Song. I think it's
I'll
called
find
Thatch
it.
Song. Anyway, it's
I've
a
got
fun
all
little
I
game.
need.
It's a quick play. It's a quick play game, and you can get your hands on it. And it's like I said, it's a travel game. So you can, it weighs nothing. The board that you play on
just a
is
sack.
printed on the bag, on the outside of the
Oh,
bag.
that's
So-
the board. That's cool.
yeah, that's it. That's literally what you play.
That's
you
a
just
great
flatten it
idea.
out, and then you play on the board. So
I want you to know that I did pick up the Survivor game for us.
that's fantastic. I'm excited about that.
Ooh.
Yeah, it'll be here tomorrow.
Okay,
Apparently, it's made by Exploding Kittens. I didn't read anything about it.
it is made
I
by
just
Exploding
saw
Kittens.
Survivor. You said pick it up. I know you're coming here in a few weeks. It'll be here.
Is
I'm
it
excited about
associated
that.
with Survivor, the TV show, also?
It
It's
is,
the
in
first
fact,
game
yeah.
that they've produced.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. Jeff, I know that Jeff Probst he's been getting injections for some time. I know he's not new to the world of Botox or filler or whatever. But I feel like this year you really see it. That's all.
I haven't watched any episodes yet. There's 2, right? The first 2 have come out.
The second one comes out this week, doesn't it?
Okay, so I'm still we're not out of it.
I
You're
might
in
be
the
wrong,
you're
but
in the safe zone.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but I think we've only had one so far.
Okay.
Either that or I'm behind. But excited to see another season. All that man has to do is just sit on an island in Fiji. He doesn't have to leave. I think he could just stay there the whole time. Show up and just say the same. At this point, a tape player could do his job. He just repeats the same lines over and over. I always say them verbatim with him. But
I think that he actually contributed quite a bit in the production of this game, though, because I've heard an interview of him talking about like the production, like working back and forth with the creators of the game with the Exploding Kitten people.
He's massively hands-on with Survivor. Like
Massively
he's not
handsome.
Yes,
said?
that's what he's like. It would be easy to think that he's like a hired host and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It is his show, and he controls like every aspect of it. Like he's incredibly involved in it, and for that reason, if you want to be on the show, or if you want to have longevity, or potentially come back for like a future show, like if they did like a Heroes and Villains or something like that season,
Yeah.
you don't want to make Jeff Probst mad, because if you frustrate Jeff Probst, you're done for.
That's exactly
it.
how it works on Drag Race. Like, if you offend
Yeah.
RuPaul, you are not coming back. Like, there are like forgotten queens at this point. Like,
There are people that Jeff has looked at and said, like, it basically when they go, it's very similar to what's his name with the challenge, but he's basically been like, if you decide to quit right now,
You're
like, you're dead in this world. Like
You've
You're
severed
dead
relationships.
in this town.
You're
Yeah.
officially done. I do have a question about
bridge is burnt.
or about the new. So we're on season 47, and season 47, 47, 48. Which one is it? 48.
We're up there. Yeah.
Yeah, but Lauren, for season
I thought we were
50,
at season 50, but maybe not.
No, we're not, because here's what they're doing with season 50. All throughout this season, they are doing crowdsourcing to figure out what the rules and the gameplay is going to be for season 50. So
How
they're
interesting.
letting
That's
all
what
of
it
the
is.
fans
And kind of
contribute
submit
to,
ideas. That's really cool.
Yeah, and not just submit ideas, like actually vote on it. So like you can vote
Oh,
on
cool,
what is
cool.
going to be happening.
That's
We're in
a great
48
idea.
right now.
They're on
We're
season
in
48.
40
Okay, so they're
and so they do.
Oh, so they've got a lot of time to kind of
a
they-
year.
yeah,
they
yeah.
do. Well, they do 2 a year, so they'll do.
But you're right that they also like film
Yeah.
it ahead of time, so like probably about a year, maybe a year and a half.
So like 48 will happen now, 49 will happen second half, and then 50 will happen this time next year.
Wow, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're crowdsourcing the
That's a
rules for
really
that
fun
one.
idea. I'm super curious to see how that turns out.
Season 50.
you have ideas that you
for
would throw
a
in?
reality show like that? That's wild. That's crazy.
Do either of you guys have like ideas that you would put in?
To make Survivor better,
Yeah, or like a challenge that you think would be cool, or like I don't know.
they're way more creative than I am.
Yeah. It would be more like wanting to make sure that certain things are back in play.
But I feel like that's fair to suggest, like as an idea, like bring back whatever mechanics that were cool, especially on a like anniversary season to like
Yeah,
celebrate
so-
things that they used to do.
So here, I don't know how this is going to work, and this could absolutely not happen. But when they announced this stuff, it was on the Tonight Show, and it was Jeff Probst being interviewed by Jimmy Fallon, and they did an audience poll of who wanted to see Jeff play Survivor.
Oh,
And
that's fun.
by far and away, everyone wanted to see Jeff play. And he said, okay,
Yeah.
if I play, Jimmy, will you host that season?
Oh,
Yes.
Like,
that
how
would be
rad-
incredible.
that's
That could all just
that's
be a bit. It could
interesting,
all just
yeah.
be banter. It's obviously, none of that is, with such a grain of sand that it's like almost like, finite sand that you have to like get
Yeah.
under a microscope. But how fun just to kind of
Here's the thing.
ideate that would
Imagine,
be.
yeah.
You just take Julie Chen Moonves, you take Jeff Probst, you just take hosts from all these different reality shows, and
Yeah.
they
Oh, and
play
make them all
Survivor.
compete.
Yeah,
Alan
because they can-
Cummings.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
make all these different because they've been watching strategy for like decades now.
That's a very
You would
interesting
think they would have learned
idea.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, so one person who has contributed ideas that have made it to the show, who's a huge Survivor fan and would call Jeff up at 2 a.m. to say like, "Have you thought about this?" is Tyler Perry.
Yep.
Tyler Perry
Oh.
used to sit in all the because they used to do in-person reunions.
He would do production meeting stuff too.
But like they used to do the in person like after basically the awarding the $1 million and the winner and all that type of
The
stuff.
finale is always
Finale,
live.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now they do
Yeah,
them on the
yeah.
island. It's no longer delayed. But when they were delayed, Tyler Perry used to always be in the audience. But several of the mechanics that have made it into the show and been tried were Tyler Perry ideas.
I love it.
Yeah, they're all.
That's fun.
What's her name? What's
What a
Mama?
good trivia
Medea.
nugget.
Medea. It's Medea. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Medea's Survivor. A very Medea Survivor. I wouldn't hate another celebrity Survivor. It's been a long time since we've had a celebrity Survivor, and not just like reality show celebrity, but actual celebrity. We haven't had one of those in a long time, so I would actually be down for something like that. And I would have
How
Tom
big a name
Sandoval
we
on there.
talking?
I would have Tom Sandoval.
I was like, that does
All
not count as a non-reality star, real
All
celebrity.
Tom Sandoval.
Yeah.
Tom
right, that's-
Sandoval.
Sandoval. What am I saying?
All.
Sandoval.
You don't have to say all twice. All is in the name.
Sandoval.
Sandoval.
Sand of all. Survivor has sand.
Aha. That's it for me, Lauren. What do you got?
All right. So most of my time in between this has revolved around the Oscars because, as you guys know, I throw a big party every year for my friends, and we do like a menu where we pair all of the Best Picture nominations with an accompanying food, and I do have pictures to show.
Yay.
Oh,
So
I love
share my screen.
slideshows.
Yeah.
Nachos.
That's not what I said.
And I organize them nicely. Okay, cool. And my friend Anna, me and her kind of planned this whole thing. He drew these cute little name cards and everything, and then we just decorated them together.
What is this
okay.
from?
So this is from Enora. Since they go to Coney Island quite a lot, we did hot dogs, like Coney Island style hot
Makes
dogs.
sense.
Delicious. For the Brutalist, my friend Tom, who's listening right now, he made this Hungarian goulash. I've never had goulash before. It was very good. That was really cool. He
I hope
handmade
it tastes better than it
the
looks,
spatzel
if
and
I'm being
everything.
honest.
It was
Is that-
very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Brutalist food.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It
so
does
this
look
one,
brutal.
this was our complete unknown guitar cutery. So trying to make it look as much like a guitar as I could
Oh
manage
my
on my
gosh.
little
That's-
cookie
this
I
is
sheet.
that-
see it now. that you
This is
said
that
it.
Timothy Chalamet joint, right? That's
Yes,
the
yes.
Bob Dylan. Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the only ones I didn't get a chance to see. But
By the way, charcuterie only refers to the meat. Go ahead.
Shark.
oh, Well-
Charcuterie means meat snack.
Well,
So not even the cheeses.
yeah, and
No.
olives. How sad.
Oh, okay. All
That's
right.
where it is.
But now I learned something new. For Conclave, we made Rice Krispies, which were Rice Krispies.
Oh my
made with
gosh,
communion
that's
wafers.
incredible. Lauren, that is fantastic.
This is so funny.
This might be my favorite thing you've ever made, which, by the way, Conclave, fantastic movie.
Great
Did you
movie.
really?
Yes.
Stop. Did you
Yes.
really make these with like the actual communion?
Yeah, I
wafers?
ordered them off Amazon. Like, and they are like indestructible. When I as soon as I put them in the marshmallow mixture, it became like cement, and I was like wrestling with it to get it
Have
into
you
the
never
pan.
tried them
and it
before?
was-
They're just styrofoam.
No, I've
they're
actually never eaten them before this time.
Patrick, she's Jewish.
Yeah, I did try a little bit of them, but this was really funny.
I taste
Holy
tested the
cow.
body of Christ.
and definitely kudos to Anna for coming up with the name Christ Krispies, because that was really funny.
No, that is fantastic. See, she should have been on the naming thing for the dumpster fire. You would've known.
Dumpster Stump is still very cute. I like it. Okay, so for Dune, we had spicy chicken wings,
Oh,
and
sure. Okay.
I got like edible glitter
You
so
should've
that
showed
they
us
were like
Rice
sparkly.
Krispies last, if I'm honest.
So I went in alphabetical order.
Hey,
So I
Patrick,
didn't miss anything.
We don't know that it doesn't get better from here.
Yeah, I tried to take pictures so you could see the edible glitter on this, so they were like shiny, like the spices in the movie.
Wow.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
For Amelia Perez, we did chorizo
I
tacos,
know
which I
that
also
cup
think is very,
holder.
very funny. Yeah, actually, shout
a
out to the
sketch
M of
cup
1
holder.
cup holders. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Back in the day.
Look at those jalapenos. Those are fresh popping jalapenos.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
we had all the accoutrement. There was some sour cream and radishes and everything too. Delicious. Anna also made a cheese souffle for I'm Still Here. This is one of the movies I didn't get to see, but apparently this is featured in the movie. But this was
Brazilian?
delicious. Really good. I made a strawberries and cream cake for Nickel Boys because it's one of the kind of the last meal he has before he goes off to the
That
Nickel
looks
Academy.
So good.
It does
I
look
was
good.
really,
don't know
really proud
so
of this
good.
cake. There was
No-
pretty much none of it left, so I know that I did a really good job of making this cake.
I have zero clue what Nickel Boys is, but that cake makes me want to watch it.
I'll give you all my
Send in
recipe
some
for this if
nickel
you want to make it, because I thought it turned out really good and it was not hard at all.
Just go ahead and shoot it to Becca. If we're
Yeah,
being honest here.
absolutely. For the substance, we had
nice.
Yeah.
like margarita
sense.
jello shots that my friend Erica made. And for Wicked, we did deviled eggs, and I did 2 different styles and dyed
Ooh.
the eggs green and pink.
Dun, 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 dun.
Wow.
Yeah, so this was really fun. We do this, and then here's all the little cards together because I just thought they were really cute.
Oh, I love what you did with the activator jello shots with the ghosted secondary.
Yeah, thanks. We're
statue
just trying to
coming
come
off
up with
of it.
something quick
Yeah.
and easy for them, but I just thought this was we just really had fun with this. We
Nice
came up with
job.
it at the last minute. Thank you.
Nice job, Lauren.
Shout out to
did
Anna
good.
and Tom for helping me. It was a
and
lot of fun.
Let's be honest. I'm gonna be making some Rice Krispies at some point.
Oh,
That's gonna-
absolutely. It's literally just the exact same recipe as
Easter.
Rice
I will
Krispies.
make
Oh,
it for
that's a
Easter.
great idea. That's
I
a
will
great
say-
idea.
I have had a bunch of different communions in my life. So if you ever need a recommendation for a communion,
Oh,
just
interesting.
reach
I didn't
out.
think
I
that they
mean-
taste different.
Oh,
I
there's
didn't even think
oh,
about that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
there's
There's
some that
absolutely
are-
different ones.
The ones that you used absolutely taste like styrofoam.
Styrofoam.
Yes,
Those
they-
taste like
that- I would
styrofoam.
agree
But
with
then there
that,
are
yeah.
some that taste more like crackers, and then obviously there's kind of a traditional bread, but
could do.
you can do the wafers
Yeah.
that are crackers that are almost
I
like
would suggest-
unflavored Cheez-Its.
If you do this again, I would use a little more marshmallow fluff than the recipe suggests so that it's easier to work with. But yeah, and a little bit sweeter. I think that would make them taste a
This
little bit
sounds
better.
ridiculous, but we went to a church where someone named Danette, she baked all the communion every week, and she did have a very good communion recipe. She both had a gluten-free and non-gluten-free option, and that was a great communion.
The full gluten,
Yeah.
is what we call it. The full gluten.
The full glute.
I
But
wonder
yeah,
if there-
so
I wonder if
Chili
there's a
chili, but there's
food.
just
I wonder
one
if there's a food vlogger who just does different communion
We just
reviews.
need to rank communions.
and the different communion wines and everything, and which ones pair best
So,
together.
funny story. During COVID, I guess there was a shortage of communions because some churches buy these prepackaged communions where the wine, grape juice, is in the cup, and then
Yeah.
the communion has a second seal on top
Peel
of it.
it.
So you
You do a
take
little
it out,
peel.
and then you open the cup.
Oh,
They ran out of the red the blood of Christ. They ran out of
Oh,
that.
so
The red of Christ.
So they had
Pretty sure they
white
used
grape
white wine.
juice. But like the white grape juice, they had tons of. But I remember the COVID shortage of like, we can send you the white, but we don't have the red.
It's without the platelets, like
The
it's
sterilized blood of Christ.
And people
That is
didn't want
so
it,
funny.
which I also think is hilarious.
I do. That is hilarious because the idea, legitimately. So I've done communion before where we have said, grab anything, like grab Oreos and Dr. Pepper. Like it's not about the physical
it's
nature of
the-
it. It's the idea.
yeah.
That's the my phone's never gonna
Nice.
my phone's never gonna do that. But these are
Airdrop
just
it
sent
to
me
your
a
computer
picture.
and like
Yeah,
It's
send it
too
to-
much work. Mackenzie just sent me a picture of the like white cups so you can like see them, but it's hilarious.
That's awesome. So I had my Oscar party, lots of fun, and then been getting ready to go to Seattle this weekend. We're kind of just going for fun, really, but it's also the same weekend as Emerald City Comic Con, and I've never been, so I'm quite excited just to go for fun. There's a Dimension 20 meetup, and if I see you there, I have shrimp keychains to start a shrimp party because that's fun.
Yeah. Shrimp party.
Yes.
That's from the last.
Vote for Kristen Applebee's. Yeah.
Which
I just thought it
Lauren,
was fun.
2 weeks
Yeah.
ago we talked about Dimension 20,
Yes.
and you talked about how excited
I
you
was
were
wrong.
to hopefully have a reveal come soon, and you were right. They revealed it just days.
Well,
after.
I knew that they were going to have a trailer soon because the
Oh.
last season just ended, but I was incredibly wrong on what the topic was going to be, and what a
Totally.
fun surprise it is. I don't know anything about like WWE, but the next season is going to be all wrestlers playing D&D, similar to Dungeons and Drag Queens.
in like Greco.
Yeah, and like ancient Greece, which I love mythology
Oh,
shit.
not
So
like
yeah,
John
I'm
Cena.
in, super in.
No,
No John
not John
Cena, but they can add him next time. I hope
John
that would be really
Cena.
cool.
He would.
I don't. Someone who's like more into wrestling, like I know Kreider really is. You'll have to tell me if these wrestlers like what their status is, because like with Dungeons and Drag Queens, I'm like these are extremely famous, like very high ranking choices that I think most people would pick. So I'm
Well, it's
curious if
not-
it's the same with these wrestlers.
We know it's not like the Undertaker or like Triple H or Shawn Michaels. These are,
But aren't
these
those
are
like?
at least B
But these are like
grade.
current wrestlers, right? Like they're all people who wrestle now. Like I don't know enough about
Maybe,
wrestling.
yeah.
I literally know nothing. Like John Cena's like I think the only wrestler that I can think of right now.
May I caution you to not pretend like you know, because there are people in our community that will tear it apart.
I'm not at all pretending.
I'm talking to
that-
Andrew. I can see Andrew
Oh.
turning as though he's going to give an answer. and
I
just
saw
don't
the trailer
know.
and I didn't recognize any of them, and I follow like The Rock and things like that on social, and I see, even if I don't know their names or like what their personas are, I feel like I see a lot of the modern people who are like A-list people who would be like in like a Royal Rumble or like that kind of stuff, and I didn't recognize any of these people, but I am not an expert in it.
Yeah.
I can't even
But we
think
have
of what
we
it's
have the
called.
experts
That's-
listening, so chime in
I
whenever
can't
you're
believe
ready.
that it is still a thing.
Yeah.
Wrestling at all? Like
Yeah, I genuinely. I will say I don't.
it's like
judge.
one of the oldest sports in the planet, isn't it? Like
yeah, but
yeah.
WWE is not real. Like,
Well, yeah, but
I don't.
I'll
judge.
take. Would you prefer like gladiator games, like actual like people die?
Yes. I would. You're asking a question.
Again.
I'm answering.
I'm not judging. People
I was like,
that
you can answer
it.
however you want, but
I love that you like it. I've given it a shake. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
it
doesn't
seems
really-
fun. I
didn't
know
shoot me
Patrick's
too
back.
little
sport of
about wrestling to
choice-
have comments. Yeah,
Patrick's sport of choice is watching real golfers play fake golf on a digital screen.
I'm gonna be honest. I've still only watched the first episode of the TGL, and I've not watched another game.
Is it
I
that
will stick to real
disappointing?
golf.
I did
Listen,
watch Tiger Woods get
100
get
yards short or whatever.
get ragged on because he misheard his team tell him how far away the shot was, and he way undershot it, and they all just started ragging on him.
Yeah, he heard like 99, and it should have been 199 or
199,
something
yeah.
like that, and it was it was great. It's not going to survive. I mean, I think we'll get 3 seasons out of it, and it'll be dead. Like, there's just no way. But real golf
Wow.
is doing great. I mean, Damon has got 2
real
top
golf
10s in
is
the
doing
top
great.
25
Like
this year.
it isn't usually
Ball golf.
ball golf.
Ball golf.
Sorry, Lauren.
You know
you're
what's
still
funny?
It's still really funny to me.
This is not funny. I have a couple disc golf people that I watch, and not that there's a lot of them. There are some of them, dozens, And Hunter and Trevor are two people that I follow their channel and have for a little bit. And I was watching the latest. I feel like this says things about me, and I don't want it to. So please, no judgment. I don't normally watch this. It's fine if you do. I don't. But I was watching the latest Dude Perfect video, and in that video, they're doing some type of like all these trick shot content creators who can win our first annual trick shot competition, whatever. And one of the guys I recognize is a disc golf player, and I've seen him before. And he, in his intro, he's like, yeah, I do a lot of Frisbee tricks or whatever. But I was like, hey, that's Brody. I know that guy. And then randomly, like, they didn't introduce the other two guys, but he had Hunter and Trevor, these other two disc golf creators, there to support him the whole time. And it was just such a bizarre, like, to watch.
But this was to play regular golf, right? Or
no, they were doing like
context.
they were like
Disc
throwing
golf
CDs to like land them in like PlayStations and stuff.
Okay,
it was
okay,
like weird
gotcha.
stuff. But it was just so bizarre seeing Dude Perfect, which is this like tens of millions or hundreds of millions of views content, intersect with disc golf content, which is like 10 people watch it. It was such a
it's
weird
5
intersection.
people watching it twice.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a big community. Like if you want to break out in that space, I don't think it's difficult, but it's a low ceiling, you know.
Well, the way to do it is to be on a Dude Perfect video.
It was just so wild because I don't know. I just make assumptions about the level of content creator, and I didn't realize that a group of disc golf people could even be seen. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Maybe what I've learned is the trick shot space is surprisingly limited. But anyway, whatever. It was random. I'll cut
That's
it.
cool.
It's fine.
So in see
No, keep it. Can't cut off your entire segment, Patrick. You
What
weren't
do you-
here this time.
Yeah, it's just us two again in the final edit.
Yeah.
What are you doing in Seattle? Did you say that? Did I miss it?
Just going for fun, and it's like also going to be going to Emerald City Comic Con. We're going to check out the Pop Culture Museum, which I think sounds really cool, and just
There's a
eat
whole
lots of
museum
oysters
for
and
pop
hang out.
culture?
Yeah, like all kinds of like fun movie stuff. They have Muppets there.
Actual Muppets.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's Muppets in most cities, probably, right?
it's a good question.
I don't think
Is
it is. Go ahead.
I guess like probably like if people make their own and everything, like yeah,
Okay. Well, glad we got to
the Muppet tangent. All right, yes, okay. Well, I'm pretty much done. I'm saving most of my time for my Oscars recap.
Okay.
Awesome.
Lots to say.
Okay, well then on that note, we're going to wrap up our Around the Table and we're going to head ourselves on over to Master Categories. Master Categories, each episode when we talk about the dice we rolled in the previous episode. Those dice give us our categories. We pick our topics based on those categories. I'm actually going to start this one
right.
because I'm so excited to tell you guys about this. And I'm hoping you haven't heard about this. I got games, and this is going to be different because I'm going to talk about a book.
That's so presumptuous.
I know. This book is called There's Treasure Inside. Have you guys heard about this book? Okay.
No.
Here's the book. It's called There's
Cool.
Treasure Inside.
There's an X to mark the spot.
It's written by John Collins Black. And I'll read just the byline. A literary project unlike anything else, a true and monumental treasure quest. This is a real-life, modern, real-time, right now, treasure hunt across the country that this book gives you all the clues to find
Wow, that's cool.
one of 5 treasure boxes that is hidden regionally around the U.S.
And if you win, do you get to go to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory?
No, if you win, you get the treasure box that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hey, I
Oh.
just want to know if even Lauren's not taking this seriously. I'm taking this seriously.
She's not taking it seriously, but
I'm not
listen.
gonna
I
make Willy
it just
Wonka
sounded
jokes at a
very
time
similar
like this.
to the situation of the golden tickets, I must say.
Lauren, if you could just be serious for a second. We're doing business.
Okay,
here.
yeah, I'll stop.
Let the professionals do what we're doing.
yeah.
I just found a clue. I took the book jacket off So that
Don't
means
tell
he's gonna
people.
show you
If you
stuff?
tell people,
Yeah,
then
you're
now
giving
they
away
have
all
the
your
clue.
secrets.
Now you're not taking this
I took the
seriously.
book jacket off, and then I thought of something. Saved it. So this is
I
what
thought it was a clue, but it's not really.
so this is the book. So the and here's the back side of it.
The printing.
I'm
is
gonna
very
try
nice.
my best to give a clear description of what's going on. So John Collins Black, he set out 5 years ago to start collecting treasure. And when I say treasure, it's anything from solid gold bars, like stamped gold bars, golden, like jewels, jewelry, necklaces, things like the traditional treasure chesty kind of stuff, right? But in addition to that, it's also like an original Bitcoin that's a physical Bitcoin that is tied to like a serial
wow.
Bitcoin. PSA 10 rated Charizard cards, Michael Jordan rookie cards that are PSA graded cards. Things that are owned, besides those things that are traditionally understood, like the value, there's also items owned by famous people, like historical figures, like Amelia Earhart. There's something owned by Amelia Earhart. There's something owned by Jackie Onassis. There are pieces of historical pieces of treasure that are hidden across the country. He has decided to hide them in these custom treasure boxes, and they shows what they all look like. The book, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited to talk about it, I'm getting ahead of myself. These treasures are hidden regionally around the country. The goal of that was to say that no matter where you are in the country, there should be one of these boxes that you could reasonably get to and try to find. So the country is divided into 5 regions. So there's one in each of these regions. And did you just post about it, Patrick, in there so people can see?
I posted the person that made the boxes for
Okay.
this. I posted the treasure boxes if someone wants to see them.
Great. So here's what the book is. The reason I'm reading this book is because it's the next book on our Whiskey and Wise list. Steve picked this book, and I could not be happier because this is such totally like right up my alley. But here's how the book works. The book is broken into 2 parts. The first part are a bunch of chapters. Each chapter talks about another piece of the treasure, one of the pieces of the treasure, and it gives historical background about a piece of the treasure, as well as like almost like a moral, like a story, like a narrative to like here's what this person was seeking after. Hundreds and thousands of hours of research have gone into creating these treasure boxes. Let me just give you an example. One of the pieces of treasure is the 1996 Olympic gold medal from Atlanta.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's crazy.
And so this chapter is chapter 16. It says defy expectations. So it's going to give you the history of this specific piece of treasure as well as call you to something. There will be takeaways like. All the while, each of these chapters has hidden clues
Messages
with
or-
details, and you don't have to decode anything in like the traditional sense. It's not like there's a cipher, but everything you need to find these treasures in the U.S. exists in these pages. That's
cool.
That's the first part. The second part of the book is broken into 4 chapters. Each of these explains one of the specific treasure boxes. So this chapter is only about this particular box. This one is the past and future box. And it tells you a little bit more about what is in that specific box and then where. So here's the Bitcoin that I was telling you about. There's a graded actual Bitcoin. It's part of the past and future box. So each of the boxes are themed. There's 4 themed boxes.
That's
and then
very
in each of
cool.
those is in the probably $500,000 to $700,000 range in terms of dollar value.
That's crazy.
Then there is one box that is the kind of the culmination of kind of all the boxes, and it's a little bit more grab baggy, and it's worth, I think that one box by itself is worth almost like $1.5 or $2 million.
Wow.
And he doesn't give you a chapter on specifically where to find that one, because these will give you specifics on where to find these exact boxes.
Yeah, but that one's more mysterious.
The other one is more mysterious. It's in the entire book. You've got to try to put these clues together.
That's
Have
very
you
cool.
heard of anything? Oh, so this book came out the end of October 2024 is when it released, right before November.
Okay. And no one's found them?
As of now, as of earlier this afternoon when I checked, 0 boxes have been found. 0 boxes.
Wow. So, okay, how confident do you feel that you're going to find one?
I'll find one by tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
So
It's nice knowing you.
It's so one of the things he does give, besides the clues, he does openly when he's doing interviews and things, he talks about the treasures will be hidden in a place that is that's accessible to anybody. You may need to pay to get to it on some level. It might be like in a
Like it's
a
locker,
natural
like-
or a national park or something. Right? You may have to pay something to get there. It's not necessarily free, but it is accessible to everybody, and it is not inside a man-made structure. None of the treasures are in a man-made structure, which means you can find it in
somewhere.
nature. So there you have it.
That's crazy.
That's
very cool.
It's real. It's a real deal. It's a real deal thing. So
That'd be really cool when someone finally finds one.
Absolutely, and I hope it's me. I hope I'm the one who finds it.
I'm rooting for you.
It's cool. And so I've
I'll have to
already
get it
started.
so that I can find a different one.
He does tell you in the introduction that clues can start immediately. Like the clues can be already in the introduction. It could be even potentially in like the index. It could be in the table of like there's clues
Under
hidden
the
throughout the
jacket.
entire thing. And he says basically you might not always know you're reading a clue. So if something just stands out to you, something seems a little weird, something seems a little
Consider it.
just out of the norm, he said, just flag it. Like make a note of it. So I'm going through this book with a highlighter and like, that seems that feels either a little on the nose or so far off the nose that might actually be something. So I'm hoping that as I go through the book, I'm still in the very beginning of it, but I'm hoping that as I go through the book, I start to key in on how he writes clues. Because once I identify some very clear clues, then I hope to identify how he actually approaches them. And that will help me.
There has to be some online community where people are working together.
There is.
Yeah.
There
I
is.
also think it's going to be interesting since you're reading it with your book club to like hear everyone's theories, like that's really cool.
I think it's so Steve, our book club is a lot of these guys are very traditionalists, right? We'll say it that way. They're military guys and they don't necessarily always get into the stuff that I get into. There was some grumblings when I did Maus because it was a graphic novel. It was a comic book. And not everybody loved that. Steve wrote down before he announced the book. Steve wrote down who he thought was going to love this experience and who he thought was going to give him a hard time, and he sealed it in an envelope, and he's going to open up the envelope when we have the event and see
That's
basically
awesome.
if he was right or not based on his presumptions. So I'm excited about it. It's called There's
funny.
Treasure Inside. It's a beautiful book. It's incredibly well done. It basically, the inside of it feels very like high-end Smithsonian put together. It's really, really nice. So sitting on the shelf is just a great book.
the cover design's really cool.
It is really cool. But then on top of that, you could walk away potentially changing your life.
Yeah.
And as of now, nobody's found anything. So, you've got just as good a chance as anybody else at this point. So there you go.
This kind of vaguely reminds me of like when the like Cloverfield movies were coming out. What's the one like 10 Cloverfield Lane? That one where they're like in the bunker. Before that movie, they did this like viral marketing thing where you could find these like canisters buried, but it was a little more.
It's like geocaching.
Yeah. That's the word I was looking for. Like they did actually like at some point like reveal where it was. Like, but the clues were like people had to like dig through the internet to find all the clues, and they had all those like fake websites. They kind of did the same type of thing when Lost was out with this like viral marketing stuff where there was like a website for the like fake slushy company where all this shit comes from, and like the environmentalist websites, and you'd have to like dig through their like comments and things on their like internal websites to find the clues. But that's like the closest thing I can think of to this.
Yeah, this is kind of like real world escape room type stuff, right? Like you gotta pay attention to stuff like that. So Patrick, who's the guy DB Cooper. You guys know about DB Cooper. At least you have some sort of idea.
exactly.
I think if I
Strap
remember
the money,
correctly,
parachuted out of the plane, never seen again.
he was never seen again, nor was the money. The money was never found again. I believe, if I remember correctly, or if I heard correctly in this episode of a podcast I was listening to where he was being interviewed by like some treasure hunters, there's something tied to that he procured during this whole process that is in one of the boxes. And basically they asked the question like, legally, when the person gets this box, are they allowed to share this? And he said that he checked with his like team of lawyers, and once they have possession of whatever this thing is, they're allowed. Like it's at that point, it's theirs to own, and by that person having written whatever this thing is, that was them publishing it, and so whoever owns the publication is free to do with it what they wish.
This person sounds very good at marketing.
He's incredibly good at marketing. So anyway, there's treasure inside. It's a treasure hunt by John Collins Black.
That's cool.
Let's hear what you guys think about that. And then maybe let's just get a team together and we'll go. I'll find the one in the Texas region before I come to you, Patrick, and then we'll go find one in the Appalachians.
Yeah,
we'll go.
Sounds
perfect.
We'll go check that out. So
Got a home base.
and then we'll stop. We'll stop in Arkansas on the way, and we'll get the one in the Ozarks. We'll just cover the kind of this bottom portion of the U.S.
The Ozarks are in Missouri.
The Ozarks are also in Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the type of thinking that's not going to help you find a treasure.
Yeah, Lauren.
I've been there. I've been there.
I hear what you're saying, but we got to have open minds here.
Open minds, open hearts. Open
didn't
minds,
know.
open hearts. Okay. That was me. I couldn't wait to tell you guys. It was everything I could do, Patrick, to not send you pictures of this past
That's
week.
very,
No,
very
I'm going to go
big,
buy it. That's super exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool. Okay. Let's finish with yours, Lauren, because I feel like that's going to be discussion based. So, Patrick, why don't you talk to us about the Omintype?
Happy to. It's something I want to do for a bit, which is I wanted an art and craft. And I could talk about whatever because I wasn't here when y'all did categories, so I just ignored it. And so,
you also had an at 20 before that, which we
said
wanted
we
you
would
to carry
honor an
over.
20.
Yeah,
that's so great. So for my art and craft, and I just unplugged it from my computer. Hopefully, it doesn't cause any issues. We'll see. I decided to build my own keyboard. I've talked about keyboards several times on this show.
You have.
And I wanted something easy to get into, something that I could do fairly quickly, and something I probably couldn't mess up. And so I settled on the Bauer Lite by Omintype, and this is it. This is what I built right here.
Ooh.
And so the Bauer
I like
Lite
the pink.
itself describes.
Let's put you full screen. Let's put you in the big seat.
I'll get into it. So a couple parameters. One, I wanted to look cool. Two, I specifically wanted to go up to a 65% keyboard. So the keyboard I had before was a Huntsman by Razer, but it was the Mini, so it was only a 60%. And with a 60%, you don't even get arrow keys unless you use function to get access to them. And it turns out not having arrow keys in your top layer, that becomes very old after a while.
Yeah.
So as much as I liked having a smaller form factor, I realized 60% is too small. So I wanted something, I wanted to just bump up to a 65. I didn't want to go 75 TKL or anything like that. 65 seemed like a good size, and I don't need function keys on my top layer. So that was my first thing. I did have a look I wanted to achieve, of course. I wanted to actually pick out all my own switches and all my own caps, those types of things. But I did not want to have to solder all my switches on the board. I did not want to lube all of my switches, so I still wanted something that was fairly quick to assemble, more like putting together a Lego. And so that led me to this, and part of the reason I picked this is recently MKBHD, Marques Brownlee, I've talked to him, talked about him before. I think last year he commissioned someone to make him a keyboard, and this is actually the model they chose for him as well. And I figured that person's done way more research than I've ever done, and if that's what he chose, this is probably okay. So this is the back of the keyboard. It is a clear case. They have a bunch of different smoke colors. If you imagine like the N64 controllers.
I was just thinking they were the old
They
Game
get like
Boys. Yeah.
purple and gray and orange, and it's kind of like that. A lot of them stay sold out, so you have to really watch to see if your colorway becomes available. Just got clear on this one. It does have the Bauer logo, and then it has this nice little heart somewhere down here. Maybe there. It's hard to tell with my lighting. There's a heart down there somewhere. Oh, it's right there. Haha, found it. Boom. So what you're actually seeing is the back of all the switches and the stabilizers. So when you put this together, the kit itself comes with the case. It comes with this, I guess, board. I don't know if you consider it a PCB, but it comes with this board. It of course comes with the, internal cabling, all the little internal dampeners. So you can see all these like little rubber. You can't really see them, but there's all these little rubber bumpers that are in here. So that way everything is not too
Doesn't
clicking
clack.
where it shouldn't click. Also rubber dampener between the switches and the keys. So all that's in the Bauer Lite kit. I believe it's $120, $110, something like that. Now, you still have to then buy the switches themselves. If I had really prepared for this, I'd have them sitting beside me, but instead they're sitting off in my room somewhere. Switches are not that expensive. I was thinking they were. I think all of my switches, I only needed 70, but I was afraid about, I don't know, breaking something or doing something wrong. So I think I got 90. And I think that probably came out to like $40. And I got what I believe are very, very nice switches. You can get less expensive ones. Then you just pick your keycap set. This was also sold by Omintype, and it came with enough keycaps to do a larger keyboard than this. I just only needed these. But what's cool is that you can set up the configuration however you want to. Like, yes, I can put my escape key in the top left because that's normal. I can also put it anywhere on the board I want to, and then I can just program the board that's where the key is.
Did you do that? That would drive me insane.
The
that
space
they're,
bar is
not in
actually
the
an
right
escape.
places.
The space
But-
bar is
Especially
escape.
because like I type without looking at the keyboard, so like that would totally mess
No, I
me
understand.
up.
But if you imagine some of these keys over here, like some of us never touch page up a day in our life, you could swap this for a different key and program it to do something else. And so I have a bunch of extra keycaps, and if I ever want to swap some of these functions, I have either keys that have the appropriate labels, or I just have keys that have no labels, and then I can program them to be whatever I want to program them to be. I can also program them to be macros if I want to, and do more complex commands instead of single strokes. I can also program multiple layers. I think I can program like 4 or 5 different layers of keys if I want to, which means that, like, let's say that I used a video editing software and I wanted to be able to like hold a key and switch to a different layer. Now everything is like video editing contextual or whatever. I could do that. So there's a lot of functionality or flexibility as far as that goes. Anyway, then the last thing you need is what's called stabilizers. So for your larger, like your spacebar and your enter key, these are these wider keys. You have these stabilizers that clip in on either side. They help keep it level and help it be a nice like singles, click. What I did not know is that you are supposed to grease and lube those separately. I had bought all pre-lube switches. I did not buy any lube for those. So all my keys are this nice, like, quiet. I'll see if you can hear it. They're this nice, like,
That is
sound.
nice sound.
And then my spacebar is that.
Yuck.
So at
clicky.
some point, I can fix that, apparently, but I'll have to take this whole thing apart. It'll never happen. So that'll just be what it is forever. But
So we'll
I will
always know when
say-
you need space.
Yes. Now, my understanding is that these...
Where's your ba-da-ba?
mine won't do
Dang
that.
it. Wrong one.
Now, what I did learn after the fact is that I didn't know this before. This board does not support any RGB or anything like that. How do people know that I like games if I don't have RGB?
Yeah.
It's tough to know.
It's in your background.
That's a big miss.
Whenever
but
he
it's fine.
streams games, he holds his keyboard up here. So
Yeah, so everybody can
Like
see.
this.
he mounts
Or you
it.
just
Yeah.
like aim
I
it
just-
straight
I
down.
play like
Yeah.
this. No, so this doesn't support RGB. I don't believe this supports any Bluetooth connectivity, so you do have to also buy a cable for it, or you have to have like a USB-C cable that you can use. But I have loved the experience of putting this together. It didn't take much time, like I said, because I didn't solder anything, because everything's pre-lubed, minus the things I did need lube for. The experience of putting this together is like, I don't. You could probably do it in 30 minutes or quicker.
Wow.
what takes the most time for someone like me doing it for the first time is how do I assemble these stabilizers? Which way does this go? How do I make sure this clips in? I spent a lot of time. So I probably spent an hour and a half doing it. You could probably do it in 30 minutes the next time that you do it. So it is very quick to do. There is a lot of flexibility. I can always go change keycaps if I want to. I could always, program it differently, change the keys I'm using, functionality, etc. I will, of course, never do those things at all.
No. But it's nice to know you can.
It's nice to know you can. The biggest thing is it just allows you to fully fit, from an aesthetic standpoint, it can be whatever you want it to be. And if you get into the nuances of switches themselves, there is a ton of flexibility in the feel. You can decide if you want it to be completely smooth and linear with no bump. If it does have a bump, where that bump is. You can decide if it's like a like 2-phase pressure or if it's like single pressure all the way through. You can decide how long the travel is, and there's a lot of nuance in the way switches work, and some people get really, really deep into finding something that's like just perfect for them. I didn't care a ton. I thought I should, but I also don't, and so that's fine.
What's your total investment on something like this?
But
like
you could really nerd
good
out.
question.
Probably $250 if I had to guess.
Okay.
Which is on one hand, I want to say expensive for a keyboard, but for people to build custom keyboards, it's not expensive. I mean, people spend $400 and $600.
You're in the mid-tier range of this.
It feels very mid-tier.
You can get an Apple keyboard for $100, $120 or whatever, and
right.
Yeah.
But it does feel a little bit like an art piece of sorts. Because it is so tailored to the environment and personality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I've really enjoyed the experience. I will say the one thing I want to do, I don't know that I'm never going to take the time to like solder a board. Seems very tedious, and I'll just
never
break
say never,
things.
Patrick. If you believe in your dreams, you can achieve anything.
I'm never going to take the time to like lube all these switches or whatever. Again, it feels very tedious. However, I do still want to know what it's like to own and use an ortholinear board. That's a board, again, where instead of the keys being offset, which by the way is a remnant of the fact that we had a typewriter and the arms, you had to offset keys, so the arms had somewhere to go. With an ortholinear board, all the keys are stacked on top of each other in like a perfect grid.
No.
You showed us this before, and it made me angry.
I am very interested in trying an ortholinear board. So that is something that I do. If I was to build another board, I would build an ortholinear board.
Okay, let me ask
but
this
I'm
question.
very, very happy with how this all turned out. Yeah.
To just try one out, do you need to buy and own one, or could you just...
I hear what you're saying.
Well, that's it for this episode, everybody. We're so...
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could borrow one.
Yeah,
I guess I could buy one.
It sounds like a thing
that
that Jonathan Cottrell has. If I'm being honest, he sounds like he maybe has 3 or 4 of them in like a Tupperware container somewhere.
Yeah. And again, if you want to build a custom board, there are a lot of other options. There are modular systems you can buy where you could build like a 65%, and then you could in the future decide, hey, I want to like actually get another smaller board to be a numpad that I literally like plug into this board, and then I want to buy these extra knobs that I can like plug
like during
in the
tax
top.
season.
Yeah, exactly. So there are other modular systems that are very interesting. There are other boards that are very interesting. But this, if you're looking for a build, something you can definitely do that you can do fairly easily, or that you could give to your son and your son could do because he likes computers or something like that. This has been a very fulfilling and a very neat project, and it definitely scratched an itch. And it's a little bit more exciting to point to. No offense to anybody, but it feels a little bit more substantial to point to than like, hey, I built those Legos over there. When in reality, it is the same level of complexity. So yeah, that's it. That is the Bauer Lite by Omintype. Quick shout. It turns out the company I work for, I think, did some of Omintype's web and marketing. So I found that out after I
Did you
joined
get a discount? Yeah.
them. Did not get a discount. But that's the Bauer Lite by Omintype. They have a lot of other, again, colorways and stuff in stock. If an N64 controller came in that like smoky or color tinted clear plastic, they have it available. So
Nice.
And in fact, they do also have. So this board,
Did they like melt down those old MacBooks like with the clear shell?
That's what it looks like. the old IMAX. This
Yeah.
board is just silver on the bottom, like the actual like PCB. But they make a vintage one that is like that green color, like that you imagine
Like motherboard kind of, yeah.
an old motherboard or something. So they have some other color boards that you can get as well to go in your kit. So yeah, I could throw more money at it in the future if I want to. I won't. Don't panic, but I could.
I wasn't panicking.
It's like, yeah.
Thank you. Mackenzie might be listening, and she would be. So so that's it on
You guys should
my
just buy a
side.
house.
Yeah. And so with that said, Lauren, it is all you.
Awesome. Well, I rolled a nat 1 last week, but you guys were kind and let me do an Oscars recap, which is great.
Yes. Can I be honest? And I think I said this in our text thread. I did it selfishly because I didn't get a chance to watch the Oscars. I was
It's
playing
okay, I got your
board
back.
games.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it
What
was
game did
Oscars
you
now.
play?
We played Town Folk Tussle.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, the maybe like shortest TLDR for the Oscars is that Honora like really kicked ass last night. They did. I think. I personally like wasn't expecting that until things like started to unfold and kind of watched it happen. The kind of chatter before the show started was that it was kind of a race between Honora and Conclave after Amelia Perez shot themselves in the foot and kind of knocked themselves out of the race.
Can you
So,
talk about that a little bit? Because you had mentioned it pre-show, and I didn't know what that meant.
Sure. I think I mentioned this too when we talked about Amelia Perez. But like basically the like lead actress who was
Carlos
like
Sophia
is Amelia.
Gascon.
Thank
Yes.
you. Made some like inappropriate tweets, and they were like several years ago, but like reporters asked to like follow up, and she's like, no, I back up everything that I said. So that kind of like torpedoed their chances of like
They
winning all
talked about
13
the
awards.
F word. When they say the F word, are they talking about the traditional F word?
Where are you seeing that?
Conan O'Brien made a joke about it in the opener.
No. So Conan O'Brien's joke was they were talking about how many times the F word appeared in this other film.
Yes.
And they said that was like 5 less than the number of F words that her publicist said this year. And the joke is that when her publicist found out about her tweets, her publicist then rattled off a bunch of F words. Because they were very like racist and inflammatory tweets. Like it's real.
And she stood and she doubled down on them. She stood by them.
Exactly. So that kind of
and it's stuff we wouldn't
that didn't go
repeat
well
on here. And then on top of that, Carla Sofia also jumped onto some news program without, my understanding is, consulting any of her PR team, and then gave an interview to someone in the wake of this happening, trying to make it better. And you can imagine that PR teams love that.
Ill-advised. Ill-advised.
Now, there was some behind-the-scenes chatter of, was this all like unearthed by one of the other teams that are like other Oscar contenders trying to dethrone them and whatever.
Even if it was.
Even if it was, like,
I know.
There would have been some internet sleuth that found it if that wasn't the case. So, like, whatever. Like,
but even besides that, if it didn't exist, then they wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So
that's a better point. Yeah.
No,
so,
completely. And I think she was very apologetic. I say apologetic. I think she did try to like apologize about some of the statements now. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
they
but
exist,
it was a little. It was like
it's-
too little, too late, and like
And it
so either
torpedoed
way,
their
they
chances for sure.
they were
Yeah.
not. Yeah, they kind of got out of contention.
And this happened like within a week of them like announcing them like getting nominated for like all these awards, and so like it was like a pretty massive overturn kind of like what everyone was expecting to happen up until that point, which is still crazy though, because Amelia Perez is not a good movie and shouldn't have been nominated for this many awards. Like, it's wild.
I don't want to say, okay, hold on. Let me real quick. I promise I'm not going to cut
Because
your
Patrick
head.
No,
didn't
go
get
ahead.
to speak up last week.
No.
and so
I'm ready for it. Go for it.
Like 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
And then we're going to talk about Tom Sandoval. But
Yes.
I will not defend whether or not it was a good movie. Ultimately, I didn't think it was a good movie from like for the last like 40% probably, or the last 30%. For the first 50% of the film, maybe even 60%. I was
interested.
hooked in.
Yes.
It was.
It's an interesting idea, but it goes nowhere.
It
and
was
like
weird
and
enough
it just
unique
feels like the
enough.
songs are just randomly forced to be in there. They're like at like halfway through writing the movie, they're like, we should make it a musical, right? Like,
But here's the thing, Zoe Saldana, I thought she was fantastic. Her performance, I have thought she was a fairly a flat actress in the past. And this film completely turned me around, and I became a massive fan of hers from watching her performance.
That's very
in this
interesting.
Did you go back and watch all the Guardians afterwards?
Well, speaking of like kind of flat performance, but her character is very like deadpan.
Selena Gomez.
But I love
I
it.
actually enjoyed her character in this film.
She's
And
also
for
very
No,
flat.
except for like, I don't want to spoil the whole movie.
And
like,
Don't spoil any of it,
for the
'cause I'm not
most-
gonna watch it.
yeah.
For the most part, again, if we talk about the first 50% of the film or so, I was connecting, or at least like I could see the jumps they were
like
making.
she's an interesting like idea for a character, but again, they just didn't do enough with the idea. Like
because
she should have figured it out. Like without saying too much, she should have figured it out. That would have been way more interesting.
The conflict or the thought of, hey, I want to change this part about me because that's not who I'm supposed to be. And then after that happens, maybe not the remorse, but the thought of, oh, wait, but I did actually love my family and these aspects of my life. So how do I be a new person while also holding on to this old person's life? That is a great setup. That is very
Yes.
interesting. The problem is, then there were like explosions and heists, and then the movie just went
A lot of other things just-
bananas. Like it
Yeah,
made
yeah.
no sense. The last 30 minutes of the film is so stupid, and by the time it ended, I was just like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah.
But for the first 50 to 60%, I was absolutely tracking with the film.
Well, it
So
didn't.
that's my ultimate
Yeah.
feeling about it. But Zoe Saldana's performance was absolutely great.
Well,
Absolutely.
to kind of piggyback off of that, it did go home with a couple awards, and she won one, and the other one that it won was one of the best original song.
Now, original
which
song
was
should have won, but that was the best song in the film.
Here's the thing: and I said this before, if you watched only clips of these songs, I get why that one was chosen because it's shot in a cool way. Like it's kind of a catchy like song. Like I get why that was picked. If you only watched clips and not the whole movie.
Yeah.
But like I also like I was listening to a podcast today that was like analyzing everything, and they're like, was this like a weird like Hail Mary to be like, you know, we nominated this for 13 awards, so we want them to look stupid by them not winning anything? Which I just think is a
Yeah, I
funny
mean-
concept along the lines of like,
Sure.
did the other teams dig up this shit about Amelia Perez? No, like I mean, it doesn't matter if it is or isn't actually. But yeah,
Anyway,
so
but what a fun, like,
yeah.
if you just say the synopsis to someone, and you just watch their eyes get bigger and bigger the more they hear it for the first time. Like, what a fun movie to pitch.
And then
to
you
someone.
watch like one clip from it, you're like, what am I
I was
watching?
like, I had to watch it when I heard.
No,
the
I'm
synopsis.
glad that I did watch it just for the conversation alone this year, but like it's a strange movie.
That
It's on
one
Netflix
song-
if anyone wants to watch it. Yeah.
That one song that's like boobs or vagina, boobs or vagina.
Penis or
was
vagina.
losing it. I was losing it for that song.
On our literal Oscar card it says yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
That was the funniest part of the movie.
If this doesn't make you want to watch this movie,
If I
Sorry.
if I was at 0% desire to watch this movie after Lauren's pitch of it, I'm at negative now. There's
yeah, I
0
don't think you skip it, honestly. There's much better
Negative
movies in
5.
the pool.
anyway, we can move on from Amelia Perez. I was tracking with it. It was a bad
Yeah.
film. We can move on.
Yeah. So the other big winners of the night was Anora, that won 5 different awards. I should have counted that beforehand. And then Brutalist came home with 3 awards. I loved
so
Anora,
enjoyed.
and I was so happy that this like was celebrated as much as it was. It was my personal like favorite movie of the year, but that to me is usually like a red flag that it's not going to win. So I was so like unconfident about the choice going into it, but I thought it was just like, it was great to see them like get so much praise. I think the big upset of the night was also what is it? Mikey Madison, the lead actress from Anora, getting the best lead actress over Demi Moore, which was to me shocking. Like it was kind of a shoo-in. Everyone thought she was going to win this as this big career award, but like I literally said this right before it happened, even though I was like totally shocked that she won. The entire movie of Anora has the camera on Mikey Madison's face, and the whole movie revolves around her and would not work without her. Like I can't even imagine this movie with another person. It wouldn't be the same.
But also, how fitting is it that the
Yes, it
younger
is.
the younger actress on her way up beats out the
Yes.
the veteran. It is literally
The irony of
irony
Demi
of
Moore
substance, yeah.
losing for the substance.
Yeah, like
which
she
is-
wouldn't be able to win. Here, the reality is, and I had to come to grips with this in years past, but the reality is everybody that's nominated and people not nominated, they all can win it, and they all probably deserve to
yeah.
win it.
Yeah. No,
Like-
I thought this was I think the best actor and best supporting actor ones were the ones that were the tightest races and the most interesting this year because like I thought everyone's performances were
I just
good in
didn't
each
love
category.
the substance. This is so bizarre to me.
I loved the
because
substance, which is
I
really
think
funny.
I
But yeah.
enjoyed Amelia Perez more than the average. It's still not a good movie, but I think I enjoyed it more than the average person.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really, I know The Brutalist has, kind of sticking to its name, been a sharply divided people. I personally really love the film, and the more I think about it, the more I want to rewatch it. And
I thought that The Brutalist was going to win a lot more stuff just because it's
it
the
did,
one
yeah.
of these movies that is the most like classic Oscar movie in my opinion.
But the substance. If 9 out of 10 people love it, then I'm the 10. Like I'm the one that's left by themselves.
I love that in this scenario, even though you're the one left by itself, you're the 10.
I'm the 10. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that doesn't work, but I am so opposite. And that's not like something I'm trying to
I
be.
can
would
get
much
why
rather be
a
in the
person
majority,
wouldn't like The
but-
Substance 100%. Like it's a gross movie, like it's really crazy. Like if
for-
you're not buying into the idea, you would be out very quickly.
But it's not even just the gross for any, and I apologize, but for anybody that talks about The Brutalist being too simple and some of how it ultimately resolves actions or ultimately approaches some of the conflict that happens, or like too on the nose. Oh my gosh, The Substance is on the nose. Like how it
Yeah.
can't be
Yeah.
any less subversive.
you can't even
than
spoil it
is.
because like exactly everything that you think would happen happens. That's
is
the
what
point.
happens,
Like
and that's part of what irked
Yeah.
me about it. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, it worked for me totally, but like it's because it's the way that unfolds is so wild that you can't turn away from it.
Sure. And so
waiting for you to talk
therefore, if
about
you then
one-
like the body horror aspect, then you get a lot of that. But from my standpoint, because the script was so on the nose, and I don't like the body horror aspect, I just didn't
that's
like it. you know?
100% fair. Substance did win for makeup, and I thought that was the one that it like needed to win because again, the whole movie focuses on like the way that these people look and these like
Yeah.
prosthetics and like this crazy Cronenberg monster that they made. Like, yeah. I'm glad they won something and to go home empty-handed because, like, what a fun, bizarre movie. Like, I'm glad that it got nominated for an Oscar, too, because, like, this was a movie that could have just slipped through the cracks, and I'm glad so many people saw it because of it. So, go The Substance.
Did you like Conan as host?
I thought he was just fine. I wasn't like blown away. I felt like it really was like an extension of his show into the Oscars. It felt really to his style. Not in a bad way, just like factually, like I felt like that. And I liked some of the jokes and I didn't like others. Like I thought the sandworm joke was really funny, but the Adam Sandler one to me was not funny at all. Like so some skits worked, some were not. Like the musical that he did was cute. I let the like dancers behind him with the like golden Conan hair was really, really funny to me. Like I liked that idea.
And in true Conan fashion, I loved that it was a 2-minute song or 2.5-minute song that was literally the song was "We're not going to waste your time," and the song was literally there to just waste time. It served no purpose. There was no greater setup to it. It was just there as a time waster, which is such a Conan thing to do.
I will say in their defense, like they did trim down the time for the Oscars quite a bit this year. It's not like a huge difference, but it is like a like a good half hour.
You said in their defense, I legitimately loved that.
Yeah,
it
no.
doesn't
I
want
think
to
that it
Yeah.
felt like they cut the fat. I think the only thing that like added time, but I thought was a really good addition was when they did those awards where like the 5 people who were in the movie would come and speak about their fellow actors, or like the people in the movie came to talk about the costume design and stuff like that. Like I know that took longer than it did for like Robert Downey Jr. to just read a sentence about each actor or whatever, but I liked this format better. It kind of gives you a little more like personality to the awards and like
Yeah.
You know, so it's not the same person just reading the whole time. I did appreciate that idea, but I know that it probably stretched the time a bit. But they also they didn't do any of the original songs that were nominated like they usually do. Number one, because all the songs were weird. Because like if they had I'm Just Ken this year, they would have had to have done it. Like that was like the best part of the Oscars last year, and they didn't have any of the songs from Wicked nominated because they are all they're not original songs for the movie. They were made for the stage play and adapted for the movie.
Barely.
So they like I loved the like intro with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande just being like, "Here's what you wanted, everyone."
I know, but I told Mackenzie that it felt like I was watching the Tonys to start with. Like that.
But no, I wanted that, and so they gave it to me, and I don't care.
I'm
like
not
I
saying it's
needed that to
bad.
happen.
I'm not
like
saying it's bad. And I'm not saying I didn't want it, but I'm just saying that the tone of the night felt odd to me. Because you get that big performance, and I know they had the video montage, the movie montage ahead of it, but then you jump into what feels like a Tony's performance. You do have Conan, and Conan was picking up stuff for me, but then there was the weird, like, James Bond.
The James Bond one, I didn't understand why it was happening or a lot of things, but I liked the performance. Like, it was a cool performance.
Why is that, because I asked about this, and I have an answer.
Who did you ask?
I asked
Steven?
Spencer.
Ask
I think
Google.
Spencer knows. So it says that the producers got honorary Oscars at the Governor's Awards. So the tribute was for that award and their work over the decade. So this is attached to another award that they just got, which is why they did it. But in the wake of David Lynch dying or some of these other things, it felt like an odd tribute to focus on when there were other things. So I think like that thrown in, and then the performance for Defying Gravity.
All of the songs kind of felt like they wiggled them in there, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the Wicked one
song.
made the most sense. That one made the most sense to me. Like the other ones, but
Well,
I mean, I thought the James Bond.
It was about L.A. It wasn't. It wasn't highlighting Wicked. It was the idea of like of making it over the rainbow and finding this place where we're gonna rise back up and we're gonna defy gravity. It was about the city of L.A.
Yes.
It wasn't like a hey, we're gonna do this song from
and
Wicked.
it was
but
it was a little
anyway.
bit that like it's both things, like honestly, and like they had to have done something like this because like the biggest musical ever came out this year, like
Now,
to just
Lauren,
pretend that didn't happen is not fun. Like
you said there was one song you loved, and that was sang by one of the directors or the writers for Amelia Perez.
yeah, that during when they like did their acceptance speech for best song, the lady just kept singing like Amelia. It was so creepy and strange. It just kept
Is
going.
that the thing
for
you guys were talking
so
about? Where you
long.
sort of checking
yes,
your phone?
Absolutely.
yes. It was one of the most awkward things I've ever seen in my life. It went on for so long, like longer than Adrian Brody's speech, maybe.
Like the crowd,
it just felt like it anyway.
Clapping.
But yeah,
There was probably someone that told them to, and I was like, okay, good, they'll clap, and she'll like hurry up. And she just kept going anyway. I
think she said it like 15 times. Like it was so strange.
felt
But I was
like
like, of course, this woman wrote Amelia Perez, like all the songs in this movie. Like,
she only wrote the Amelias.
Oh,
I
okay.
felt like I was in an episode of I Think You Should Leave because I literally pulled out my phone because I was uncomfortable. It's like I can't handle this. I need to look at my phone. I cannot even look at my TV. It's so got under my skin.
I've watched a grand total of maybe 18 minutes of this thing. Most of it was Conan O'Brien stuff, but I did see the first award of the night, and to Kieran Culkin, and his speech was phenomenal.
He's so
And
funny.
Him
It was
asking,
weird though, right?
no, it
Can
wasn't
I-
weird.
Shout out to every time that the cameraman cut to Jeremy Strong basically acting out Succession as if Roman had won an award instead of him.
I didn't see that. I only
That was
saw,
hysterical to me.
I only saw the thing where he was talking about his wife and that I thought that was such a an honest moment and story, and them cutting back to his wife in the thing and her being like, "Oh, you're right. You did say this, and I did say this." Like that was
very cute.
moment,
I
and
think-
it felt very honest, and that's what I liked about it.
I think people that have kids or are having kids probably find those moments to be sweet. To me, it was like just announcing this big room, like we're gonna go have sex, we're gonna go doink everybody.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
I thought it was cute.
Sensual relations.
You have to accept. You have to accept my seed, woman, and I'm telling you this in front of all these people. That's what it felt like.
No, but the thing is,
It was high
he
pressure,
didn't
She
but-
say
does
it.
have to.
She said it, and so she acknowledged it.
That's binding.
If it
I
was
also,
just
the
him-
funniest part was that at the end he said like, and I've never brought it up again until right now.
until right this moment, and he said, let's go make a baby or whatever he said, or let's get to cracking.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
But I do think there would be the cringy stuff. I think there would be a cringe-worthy moment. Yeah, they shook on it, which I loved. About
Yeah,
that.
that's very cute.
I do think it would be way cringier, Patrick, if it was just a one-sided thing where he was just telling the story. But the fact that they included
Had
her
the
in
conversation.
they included her in this like back and forth visually. The narrative was them like her acknowledging like, you're right, I did say that, I did agree to that, this did happen. Like that made it not cringy. That's the part that made it sweet and fun and honest. And I love that they didn't pull away. He even said like, please don't play me off yet. Like I want to tell this story real quick. They had every opportunity to play him off, but I think it was actually a sweet moment between him and her. And I love the Culkins. It's hard for me. Like I love Kieran Culkin and I love Macaulay Culkin. So like I'm rooting for them, and it just felt like an honest thing.
That was a win-win situation for you because you also love John Lithgow.
I do
So,
love
like,
John Lithgow.
worst
that
case
joke about him was
scenario,
great.
They flip to John Lithgow, and then you're still happy.
I am so happy.
That was
I'm
a great
so
like ongoing bit where they kept cutting back to him looking sad.
I never saw it pay off. I only saw the setup of it because it was
the beginning,
opener,
but they came back to him 2 or 3 times throughout
That's
the
good.
night when
That's
like
good.
they're like, "Are you disappointed, John?" And he's like,
Did
you know, or
did anyone
whatever.
watch Adrian Brody's acceptance speech?
Yeah, it was very long.
Warren watched every moment of it.
Yeah,
All 5 minutes and 38
Yeah.
seconds. My understanding, the longest acceptance speech in Oscars history.
Wow.
It was as long as The Brutalist. It needed an intermission.
She's been working on that. She's been workshopping
just
that
thought
joke
of it.
all day. She was
She
workshopping
just
it
texted
with
me and
people.
asked me to do that setup.
She was
I
at
didn't care at
Starbucks
all.
earlier
Thank you,
today.
thank
She's
you.
like, "Hey, what do you guys think about this setup?"
Working on my
Overall,
tight 5 for the Oscars
Uh-huh.
commentary.
I was fine with where the awards were going. It was kind
Yeah.
of all over the place, but
There really wasn't any
that's
huge
good.
surprises to me. Like I felt like it could go either way with Honora and stuff, or The Brutalist, or Conclave. Honestly, those were the ones that I was thinking were going to win the biggest. They did all win the most awards. I just didn't like guess all of them in the exact right places.
Did you
But-
both see Conclave?
Yeah,
I
I,
have
really
not
liked that
seen
movie.
Conclave.
Conclave is I think
It's
it's probably
great.
top 3 movies of the year for me. Like it was very
that would
good.
have been of the Oscar movies my third choice because I loved Wicked. And
I
it's
want to
really
recommend
good.
to
Yeah.
all of you that if you did not see September 5, or maybe we say September 5th, I don't know that it picked up any awards, but
It was
that
a
is
documentary,
also
right?
it's not a documentary, but it
I
is
was like,
retelling.
I have my thing here, but I don't remember.
It is retelling a historical event. That is another one of those movies that I watched that I was hoping to talk about last time I was on the show. But it's about the 1972 Munich Olympics. When
Oh, it's
there's
the
a
original
hostage,
screenplay.
when there's a hostage crisis, and they're the ones. Basically, they're sports reporters, but they end up being the front lines of the people reporting on the news that's happening, and they don't give over the story.
I remember
to the
this.
actual
They don't
news
give over
wing.
the I remember the thing to set up for this.
And it's a very tight, like everything is basically taking place almost in just the broadcast room, or the production room, but it's a very on your edge on the edge of your seat the entire time that it's going on. Really, really worth a watch. September 5, I highly recommend it. So
Cool. I love it. I think that kind of wraps everything up. It was a fun Oscars. I think they headed in the right direction. Like I think a lot of people complain about it, but it just felt like very solid this year. Like there was anything crazy, but it was just fun to watch.
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
I mean, it's
Andrew
always
is probably
like a
3
slow
out of 10
award
'cause he
show. I
couldn't
get
watch
it.
it,
Like I
but-
get it. You know.
I'm gonna go back and watch pieces of it. I mean, I
was like,
started
we
to
make-
watch it before we hopped on this call. I started to watch, and I got halfway through Kieran.
I know Hulu had a big outage, or people
Yeah,
having trouble
they
signing
did.
in.
It was crappy. Like I went scouring thinking that there was something wrong with my like Disney Plus account. Like I went through this whole thing. We like turned off the wireless router. We reset things. We did all these things only to find out that Hulu had a known issue. And
Yeah,
was
exactly.
out. And so by the time Becca was able to get it up and be able to start watching it, I had to leave. So, but I'll go back and I'll watch pieces of it, or I'll just watch clips of it
I'm sure
here
you
and
can just watch like highlight clips and you'll be just fine.
there. We'll be just fine.
I think that sorts out most people, but I don't know. I always like watching the whole thing.
Yeah, I would totally. Yeah, if it's live, I like watching the whole thing. But now I'm like, oh, I don't have to.
I also think it's more fun to watch with everybody. Like we're making commentary when we're watching it, so that makes it more fun. We tape a mustache to the TV, and when it lines up, you have to take drinks. Like we try and make it a little more gamified. We have like ballots,
Lauren, that you
like
were taking Jell-O shots.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, if that's going to be it for you, then let's go ahead and roll our dice to figure out what we're talking about in a couple of weeks.
Let's do it. Oops, not that one.
What's funny is I don't know where my dice are. I guess I haven't unpacked them yet. So
I'm gonna just do an online dice roller because I'd have to get up, and then you'll all
that's
see
far.
my pajama
I
pants.
get it. That's far.
There we go.
All right, I got a 2 for my D20 and a 4.
Two for your D20. Okay, gotcha. Front page.
All right, sounds good.
I got a 16 and a 4, so anytime.
16 is going to be film, which is very funny after this week.
Okay.
And I got 10, so that is
I'm
books.
going to watch the Oscars, and then I'm going to tell you guys what my thoughts are on the Oscar recap.
Books, future. Okay.
Books.
I got books and then a 3, so future.
Oh, Lauren. I think you should
I don't know what I'm going to do. I was like, yeah, should I read your
you
treasure
absolutely
book
should,
and tell
so
you
that
about
the
how I'm
three
going
of
to
us
find
can
it?
team
Yeah.
up on this, and we can share this treasure.
Team M of 1.
Okay. All right, everybody. That's going to be it for this episode. We do have something coming up in a couple of weeks. We are going to Creative South. We've mentioned that a couple times, but we do have, for those of you who are listening who are in the creative community, and by that we mean like you create things. We have a little project that we want to do collaboratively that could use your help. Just to give you an example of something we've done in the past, we've done like a community draw where we all get pieces of a larger piece, and we've collaborated to make a larger piece. We've also done a coloring book with our artists and with people who we've interviewed before. Those are some other projects. That's not what we're doing this time. But if that idea of a community project sounds like it'd be fun for you, hit me up in the Slack channel, and I'll tell you more about what we're trying to accomplish.
It's very cool.
It's gonna be fun. Like, it'll be fun. And this maybe could also be trivia based. I know Patrick Jedi doesn't create things in the same way that maybe other people in this community do, but maybe trivia could be something. So if you are interested at all in participating in this community project that we're putting together for Creative South that will debut there and give out to people, then just reach out, hit me up in the Slack channel, and I'll tell you more about it. It's going to be fun. Other than that, you can find show notes and links to the stuff we talked about over at mof1.network. While you're there, you can find the Slack channel and join the conversation there. That's how you can reach out to us, talk to us throughout the week. There's, just hundreds and hundreds of episodes there in the archive. Go find 1 or 2 or 3 and share them. Just put them on social media so people will be like, oh, that's a thing. And just go share, because that's fun for everybody. Where are we? We're social media at M of 1 Podcast on there. I'm at Andrew Sale with 3s instead of E's on the old Instagram. And Lauren, people can find you on the internet too now, right?
Oh yeah, I'm at Not Cool Co everywhere.
As of this week. That's fantastic. And then Patrick,
yeah.
Patrick, and where can people find you on the internet?
At the old Instagram.
The old, like OL apostrophe.
OLE, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it for us for this episode. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. For now, I'm Andrew.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Patrick.
I'm so glad you're all back. Peace out.
Adios.
Bye.
See the trombone.
Now you're ready.
The trombone and the rim shot are right next to each other, so I just hit the wrong one when you said it.
Oh, it's funny that it's called the rim shot.
Yeah, that's what the sound effect is.
And now I know.
Now you know.
That was a great one.
So
Guys.
it actually reads, hold on, here's the label. I know I sent it to you, but I'm going to say it out loud. I don't know why Mackenzie had this, or if she just Googled it. But the label on the communion says, in an unprecedented situation, the entire pre-filled communion cup industry is currently out of stock on traditional red grape juice cups.
Because everybody was trying to talk to their maker.
Fortunately, we do have fresh white grape juice cups. Because of this, we're sending 100 white Kingdom brand communion cups as a substitute for these other. Oh, these are the pictures that she took from her job when she worked at the church. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's even better.
Oh man, Andrew.
I also liked it. Like, we promise it's okay. God
Yeah.
says so. Like,
This was specifically talked about in the Bible. What to do if your pre-filled communion cups are the wrong color.
Yeah.
It's in there. Andrew, I'm already planning all the places I'm going to take you when you're here, by the way. I've already got several places
how fun.
Okay.
lined up.
Yeah, I'm
Very
going to hang
excited
out with
for it.
Patrick in a couple weeks. It's going to be a good time.
love it.
I'm going to...
you're gonna see his new house and hang out and
I hope I do more than see his new house.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I'm currently planning on staying in it.
Staying in. Doc, I don't know if you missed it.
Technically, you still get to see it.
That's true. It's true.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. We'll also I also think that means we'll see Doc in a few weeks.
It does mean I'll see
Fun.
Doc in a few weeks.
But
Does he live
maybe
close to you? I
maybe
didn't
the
realize that.
blood is red after it cleanses sins. You know that whole egg thing where you like wave the egg over someone and then break it and it's like all the yolk is red and it's because it pulled the impurities out of your body. Have you seen that whole like con that people did?
No.
These people would I'm pretty sure they would inject eggs with like a dye or something.
Yeah.
And then they would be like, we're going to take this fresh egg and we're going to rub it over your body. And then when we crack it, it'll be gross. And that's where it pulled the impurities out of you.
Oh,
and
wow.
Is this like a spiritual
That's
leader
bizarre,
con
yeah.
man bullshit, right?
Oh, I will say, if you want to, like, an Easter tip, dyeing those deviled eggs was very easy. I just, like, made the hard-boiled eggs and, like, you know, took them out of the shell and just, like, cut them in half, took the yolk out, and then let them sit in the water. Like, just water with food coloring for an hour, and they turn, like, super green and super pink.
This has nothing to do with anything you're talking about, Lauren.
I just thought it was fun
I
if
meant to
anyone
say-
wants to do it.
No, not that. Not what you said. What I'm getting ready to say doesn't have
Yeah.
to do with what you're talking about. I meant to say something on air and I forgot. I guess we're still technically on air.
Yeah.
I've been reading the Fourth Wing books. Have you read any of those?
Oh, I have it, but I haven't read it yet.
Okay. I'm on
I
the
have
third,
the first book, but I've never read him yet.
I'm on the third one right now. That's all. I think you would appreciate them. I think you because there's dragons.
It's been recommended to me many times, and I think I will like them. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and read it yet. I had like
You've got to read
I
Lord
tried-
of the Rings for the 20th time before you read Fourth
I'm
Wing.
reading Game of Thrones instead. It's
you
I
different.
do understand why you didn't talk about that on the episode.
I don't.
All right. Well, good time, everybody.
I love
Enjoyed it.
It's good to have everyone back. Welcome back, everybody.
Yes.
We're here.
This was nice.
I'm
excited.
I know, Patrick, you were only gone for 1 week, but in like a weird. What are you laughing at?
That's
I
it's
was
fine.
trying to
I'm
figure out how
sorry.
we were saying.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
In a weird way, even though you were only gone for 1 week, because you've been displaced for like the last 6 months.
You've really been gone for a month.
Seeing you outside of your element for 6 months, seeing you back in front of your lights and your bookshelf and your toys and things, like it feels like a return to.
Oh yeah.
It feels like the ship has been righted. So
Yeah.
that's all.
Life's been weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
Life's weird, right, everybody?
yeah. Airplane.
2025. What can I tell you?
Patrick,
I
will
mean,
you
I'm
do me-
obviously grateful for people that housed me and fed me.
But you're happy to be
I'm very happy,
in
yeah.
your element. What do you think the odds are, Patrick, of while I'm there, you trimming your beard down so that we both have mustaches?
Ooh.
What are we thinking about this idea?
We could go see my
I'll wear a
stylist.
fake mustache if you do that.
As long as she doesn't have the flu, we could go see her.
My question is legit. You think we could just rock mustaches together while we're?
I will wear a fake mustache for a whole episode if you do this.
I can do mustache, but it has to be like I leave the mustache this length, and then I just go down to like a 2 on the beard or something.
Not a 2. So I'm doing a 1. This is a 1. Well, this is actually a little bit long right now. I'm gonna trim it down, but I
It's a
go
1
to.
and a half.
I don't shave this. This is a 1, and this is
Okay.
the mustache. So, I think you could probably pull that off in the same vein.
I will do it.
Yeah.
I just have to face Mackenzie.
So I made
So
I made the
tentatively,
choice
yes.
to do it, and kind of it was like I don't know what's gonna happen here. Now, like I don't think I'm allowed to shave it. I think Becca loves
You're
it.
stuck this
more.
way now.
Yeah, this is me
Yeah,
now. This
but
is
the
life.
This is
problem
me now.
See, look, we already had no pop up. The problem is that we talked about this publicly and not privately.
Patrick, what you need to do is if you could just trim your own beard, then you could make a mistake. and
How
then-
about this? I'm being serious. 1 on the beard.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the mustache. Shave my head. You shave your head.
I do shave my head.
Yeah. But
I
you
currently-
shave your head. We fully show up. We'll tell people we're brothers.
Yes, we do. We already are brothers, so this just feels like it's just solidifying what we know to be true.
I would absolutely do it for Creative
Let's
Self.
do it.
100%.
Let's do it.
Oh, now
would be
that
really
no has
funny.
exclamation points. Look how scared I am. I would 1,000% do it.
Mackenzie, look at what Becca is saying about the mustache. She was hesitant about it, but she was like, "It's your face. You can do what you want to do." And now she is so adamant about me keeping it. She informs me when my beard is getting too long and it starts to kind
I
of
have to deal with. You need to watch Amelia Perez.
your body,
All right.
my choice. Wow, Mackenzie. Wow, this is public. People can
Yeah.
see this.
Well,
But she's
you'll
a
never
girl,
be a
so it's
podcaster
okay.
now.
Patrick, just flag 2 blanks for you're safe and 1 blank for you need assistance. Okay,
I was really
everybody.
confused.
Let's get out of here. We'll see you in a couple weeks. In the meantime, let me know if you want to be a part of this project that we're gonna do.
Yeah, sounds good. Bye,
It's very
everybody.
fun and cool. Do it.
Bye,
start waving.
everybody.
See ya.